All right, guys, welcome to Word of the Day Wednesdays. I am Nicole D. Miller, author of When Love Wins. When Love Wins is an urban Christian fiction story. It is depicting two young female women, cousins, with a rift in their relationship. So Natalie, the faith-based social justice advocate writer, loses her mom. She moves in with her cousin Ashley and uncle, expecting assistance and grief support. Instead of a warm welcome, her cousin Ashley gives her an icy cold one. So Ashley is the artistic, urban socialite fashionista, but she has a chip on her shoulder. Could it be because of her ex, Phil and Natalie, or is there something deeper? To learn more, you can go to whenlovewins.love. Let's get started. So you guys know every week I piggyback off of my latest blog. This week, the topic is called This Time Next Year, okay? So, in this particular post, I share the nuances of a past season of my career where I was bored out of my mind and I was being under-challenged, and my personality type, I need a good challenge. I need my brain to be consistently intellectually stimulated, and if I am not challenged, especially in my career, I will start looking for other things to do. So that's what happened. I was being under-challenged. And this wasn't the first time. I had been under-challenged in my career before, and then in another season of unemployment. So I could see these patterns and cycles of how God deals with me in my life. And when I'm in those spaces, it's not for nothing. There is purpose. There's purpose in the nothingness. And I have to remind myself of that because I still be going through these similar seasons. So in this particular season, it was like 3 years. And so everything looked good on the outside. I had my little cubicle, my little job title and all that, but the work was diminishing. And that's what I talk about in this blog post, is during that time, I started looking for other stuff to do. I had gotten an advanced degree. I started looking for other opportunities outside of the company, as well as trying to apply internally. And I ended up writing. I ended up doing blogs and writing, finding this other whole thing that ended up being a pivotal part of my purpose. And I was satisfied in that sense, but still struggling with a lot of discontentment in my career. And it wasn't until the end of that 3-year period that I felt like, wow, I am changing. I am content now. And I know for me, when I look at my past and I see these very long seasons that feel like they are going to last forever and I can't get out no matter what I do, I think there are signs and indicators of when the season is nearing to an end. So you may not be able to tell the day or the time, but you may get an inkling like, oh, this is probably winding down because I'm passing the test, okay? So that's what was happening for me. I can look back and I could say my discontentment was shifting into contentment. And I got to a place, and this is when I talk about in the blog, I'm standing at the window at work, and I'm like, wow, Lord, I feel content. I feel at peace. Even if the next 3 years are the same as these last 2 years have been, it's all good because I just feel at peace. Well, shortly thereafter, I was released from that position, and it was in a way that was hurtful on some level, and I think other people who had a similar experience, they felt hurt as well, or even who were friends of mine who knew of the situation happening. But for me, it wasn't as hurtful as it could have been because I had been wanting that release, and I knew that it was a spiritual assignment and that God was saying, you're done with this season, I'm releasing you, right? So the interesting thing is, even though I felt great about the release, I even wrote thank you letters to my former management team. I got them cards when I cleaned out my cubicle. However, I started battling with a lot of depression and anxiety. So I had dealt with some anxiety and depression in past seasons, but not on this level, right? And so all of a sudden, while I'm in this transition, and I think that we can be more vulnerable when we're in seasons of transition. So as I'm in this transition, my mental health was taking a nosedive. And I went through a lot with dealing with fear and anxiety and thoughts of failure and thoughts of not doing God's will, and even suicidal idioms. Things just started unraveling. And it was about a year journey of walking through that, which I'll talk about in another blog post. But what I will say is another door opened, thankfully, And clearly my purpose continued to unfold, and God had something else, right? But my point is, in walking out that journey, I learned that my season, even this very, very long season, it ended, right? And so I can look at my past and I can see, like, long seasons end too. Nothing in this life lasts forever. And one of the things I talk about in the blog is that we have really good long seasons or really good things, but we don't be wanting those things to end. We don't be trying to rush the good things, right? We don't want that to end, spending time with our loved ones or our families or the people near and dear to us, or, you know, trips that we go on, you know, having financial success in our business. Like, we don't want that stuff to end. We want that to keep going, right? So it's just funny how when things are hard, we like hurry up and get this season over. But when it's smooth sailing, it's like, okay, I can just be here forever. So anyways, I think that builds character when we do go through the tough seasons. Like, the easy seasons, they're fun, you know, and I think God is a good God and loves us and is a good Father. So of course we need to be rewarded for the hard parts. But the hard seasons are the ones where we really develop characters, where we really develop thick skin, and we get to overcome, and then we have something to offer other people, which is our testimony. So I use that as an example to share that I am still in another waiting season, and this particular waiting season has been the hardest, longest season of my life, okay? And what I feel like God has told me recently is to just be encouraged. By this time next year, everything will be different. So I just released that to y'all. I released that word to y'all. If you want to check out the blog, you can go to NicoleDMiller.com. Subscribe. Make sure you're in the know of all the things. Y'all know I'm always doing stuff. We just got done with the girl talk, which was phenomenal. Can Black love still happen? We think so, but definitely a challenge, right? What's really on the horizon is Futureland. I will be in the house, of course. Futureland is happening. If you don't know, it is for us by us. It's a conference. It is a tech conference, but it infuses creativity and entrepreneurship, creative leaders, content creators like your girl. So I'm definitely going to be there. There's a lot of branding, marketing, promo stuff to tap into. I know Crazy Bone is like leading one of the workshops, so they got some heavy hitters for sure. I know the mayor, Justin Mayor Bibb, was there last year. That's going to be poured into urban leaders in the community. My girl Alicia Ellis is helping to spearhead that. So yeah, definitely check that out at futureland.com. Tap in. That's happening this weekend. Next up on the roster is the fall vendor pop-up being hosted by Stuck Up Brand. I will be there. It's October 13th. Definitely check out my link tree at HTOHB on Instagram, because I have the link there and you can RSVP. The reason I'm tapping into this particular pop-up, because I don't go to a lot of them, but this one I'm going to, because my girl Ayana killed it. The first one I went to was 2 years ago, right? She killed it. And she had wall-to-wall vendors. 25 vendors. It's going to be like that again. It's going to be lit. I sold so many books and I made so many connections. So I'm so looking forward to that. That's second, right? The third big event that I'm super, super excited about is, drum roll please, thank you, I will be featured on Writers Unplugged. So Cleveland Public Library has a podcast called Writers Unplugged, where they interview various authors and they get to talk about their books and their career and all the things. So because I'm local, I'm going to be featured in person at the Huff Branch. So definitely come through. I will be signing copies of When Love Wins. If you have a copy, bring your copy. If not, I'll be selling books. So you can buy one and get a signed copy from your girl. And it's free. Okay? So come through if you're in the area. Look at my link tree. The link is for that is up there. And of course, if you're on my email list, that's when you will be in the know of all the things. Speaking of my email list, so every Wednesday, my email comes out where it just updates you guys on all of the things that are happening. One of the new things that I'm doing is I have a bookshop. So there's a site called bookshop.org, They specialize in promoting indie authors and indie bookstores, right? So just really giving the power back to independent authors. I already apparently have books on there, I didn't know, but I found out about them. So now I have a site where I am featuring other authors in my bookshop. And if your book aligns with the brand, the values of my brand, I will feature yours too. So DM me or email me, info@ndmillerpublishing.com, the ISB number for your book, the ISBN, number for your book, and I could potentially post it. And if I do post it in my bookshop, at some point it's going to end up in my weekly email list. So I send out this weekly email list. I probably run it for a month per author, and my audience will have exposure to your book. So hit me up with that. All right. I think that's all I have. I think that's all the things. So again, check out the blog, NicoleDMiller.com. Email me if you have a book, info@ndmillerpublishing.com. Hopefully I will see you at Futureland. Come back next week at Word of the Day Wednesdays.